let's get back on track. Okay, so we all agree that at least in theory, a Ghostbusters 3 or a new Ghostbusters film, there's no reason under the right circumstances you couldn't do it.
I think we can even agree that it's a worthwhile pursuit with the right ingredients.
That's a good way of putting it, Johnny. And along those lines, let's talk about what ingredients we would bring to the table if we were given control of the Ghostbusters franchise. Petros, you've been handed a blank check for Ghostbusters 3. Who do you cast as the 4 leads? Who are your dream Ghostbusters of people working today?
It is actually really difficult to cast the Ghostbusters because I don't know if it would actually have to be the same characters. I think it would actually have to be new characters almost. Go, like you said, with the Star Trek route. Like, who could be the Picard to Venkman's Kirk, almost?
I got a list.
You go first, I'll think about it.
All right, okay. So I'm thinking Joel McHale.
Oh, that's a great choice.
I think so, because you get, like, a good sardonic wit, a little bit of the, okay, fine, this is a job, whatever. Whenever something weird happens, you get this, like, what the hell? Tina Fey, I think, would be great, because she's got quirky, obsessive, you can have this character that's really focused and at the same time scattered. Michael J. White.
Okay.
From Black Dynamite, which I think would be fascinating to have this really huge, bulky, militant, strong guy who has good comedic timing. He's hilarious. He knows to kick ass. That, I think, would be good right there. And I think for the 4th character, you'd probably have to, because even if you're rebooting, everybody is going to be familiar with the concept of Ghostbusters. So it'd be kind of weird to have this, like, what's Ghostbusters thing going on. So you'd have to have, I think, a young character who comes into it and doesn't know what the hell is going on. And I might take some flack for this, but I think Jay Baruchel as the new guy. Because Jay Baruchel does what the hell is going on. Do I press this button? He always plays kind of the confused, scattered young guy, like in Tropic Thunder. I would watch that movie.
Okay, and in order to give Petros more time, I'll go ahead and list my picks. It's funny, Johnny, because we actually have several overlapping picks. To begin with, I also had Joel McHale on my list. You just happened to beat me to the punch, you lousy no good. Yeah, I agree that Joel McHale is really, really funny. But when things do get more serious, he can carry that.
He has gravitas, yes.
And he's likable even when he's playing scumbags. Whatever your Venkman character is, he would be perfect. He wouldn't be Bill Murray. He had his own spin on the part, but I definitely think he could nail the essential nature of that character. So I'd have Joel McHale. My second pick was originally going to also be Tina Fey, but since I don't want to duplicate 2 of your picks, I'll go instead with Aubrey Plaza of Parks and Recreation and Safety Not Guaranteed and a whole bunch of other things. She's one of my favorite comedians working today. I think she'd really fit in well with the Ghostbusters brand, and she has the right attitude. She'd work well with Joel McHale and my other 2 picks as well. So, there you go. Aubrey Plaza is number 2.
Addendum, I also want Will Arnett in the movie. Somewhere.
It's actually one of my casting choices that was coming through my head.
Right on.
Stop stealing everybody's pick, Johnny.
I got to go first. They're my picks.
But you'd already gone. As for my number 3 Ghostbuster, I have to go with none other than Terry Crews.
Yeah.
If you're not watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, you're missing out. Or that recent Muppet ad.
That's a better pick than Michael J. White. That's a better pick. Terry Crews is a way better pick.
He's so funny, but he's also got a lot of heart, and he's got the physicality, and he can do slapstick. Oh, can he do slapstick? I would love to see him in a Ghostbusters movie. He does panic screaming. He's one of the funniest screamers, as it were, in Hollywood today. Never gets old seeing him freak out. And he'd be perfect for a Ghostbusters movie. He'd be the guy who's just completely in over his head. He just completely loses his shit every time. He freaks out whenever I would love to see that play up against a deadpan, snarking Joel McHale. Just kind of like, it's just Ghost, man. Deal with it. My final Ghostbuster pick would be Lucy Liu. She's an actress I've always been fond of. In this particular scenario I picture in my head, she'd be kind of the chief scientist and leader of the team, just trying to deal with the goofballs in her life, trying to be kind of the serious one, but she's definitely got her own bit of crazy underneath as well. Basically, we'd have 3 olderish actors as the established Ghostbusters being joined by Plaza, who would be the newcomer to the group. It would have a very different dynamic than the original Ghostbusters, but I also think that's a positive in my opinion. You don't want to just try and copy what the original team did, but at the same time, they're 4 really good actors and actresses who could definitely carry a new Ghostbusters franchise, in my opinion, especially if you get the right directors and writers in as well. All right, Petros, enough delaying. Who's your picks?
All right, okay, so I also thought, one person that's pop into my mind is Bradley Cooper.
Interesting.
The one problem I've noticed with both your casts is there's no real star power behind either of them.
Tina Fey isn't star power?
She's not.
Okay.
You can't put Tina Fey, you can't headline with Tina. Tina Fey is very big in TV land, but when it comes to movies like Bradley Cooper, that's the name people will literally go and see a movie, especially a younger generation. They will go and see a movie because of him.
Bradley Cooper can do funny.
This is Ghostbusters. That franchise does kind of have name recognition, and people will at least recognize most of those names, and they'll go, oh, I know them. They'll see the trailer, they'll go, yeah, I know him, I know her, I know him, I know her. You don't need a big name because you got Ghostbusters, Petros.
It's not true. That's just not true. Look at RoboCop.
RoboCop is a lot lesser movie.
Not that much less. It's a great 80s movie that a lot of people loved. If you want to break in the big bucks, you need to bring in 13, 14-year-olds who have probably not watched Ghostbusters, let's be honest.
They're far more likely to have watched Ghostbusters at the very least than RoboCop. And Ghostbusters, as we've already established, has an incredibly iconic theme song that I bet most kids would recognize. I think even today, most 13-year-olds would know how to respond if you go who you're going to call. Also, the original Ghostbusters didn't exactly have big names. They had established stars, sure. I don't know if at the time of the original Ghostbusters, if Bill Murray was yet a bigger name than some of the people that Johnny and I have mentioned for our casting. Anyways, you're just wrong. Continue with your list. I don't have to justify. This is my show. This is my show. So I am automatically right.
Well, of course I cast myself because I do that in everything I do.
I'd watch that.
No, you cannot do that. You are not good enough. You stupid hack. You have to be anywhere near my beloved Ghostbusters. I want people of talent. It's harsh, but true. Okay, so who's your picks? Come on, seriously.
All right, yeah. Bradley Cooper is one. Maybe Chris Pine might be another. He can do funny. I know he can do funny.
Yeah, he does have some pretty good comedic moments.
Just kind of tied to some properties already.
Yeah.
Now, failure Jack Ryan, I'm not really sure. But Petros continues to fail, people. I'm sorry. Petros has let you all down.
I'll be honest, it's really hard because it's like trying to recast these things is difficult enough, but when we don't have like a specific set of characters, it's really difficult for me as producer to imagine, okay, so who am I going to cast these roles as all of a sudden?
Let me ask a different question then, one that maybe is as important. Who would you hire to write and direct Ghostbusters? You're an actual producer on the film, and you have the pick. You can't pick yourself.
I always want to pick myself, though.
You can't pick yourself. Pick somebody else.
It's hard to say, honestly, because there are not that many great comedic directors anymore, not the way they used to be. It might be, honestly, better to hire someone who has something of a more dramatic edge to him, that has done a little bit of some comedy. Oh, I know, definitely. Yeah, Zack Snyder, his movies were hilarious. Yeah.
Johnny, we're going to have to murder Petros now.
I died a little inside.
It actually hurt me a little bit to say it just now.
I mean, to me, the obvious choice, and only if they were interested, would be Phil Lord and Chris Miller. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, 21 Jump Street, the Lego Movie.
At the risk of proposing nepotism, I think Jason Reitman could do it.
Well, it's an interesting choice.
Brad Bird.
Oh my god, that would be interesting to see.
I imagine if they're going to make a new Ghostbusters movie, they're probably going to up the action in it. And Brad Bird has proven with the Mission Impossible movie he did that he's an incredibly talented director. Like, he does some great animated stuff before them, but when he went into Mission Impossible, it was like, yeah, this guy can direct live action as well.
Right, and he can do comedy.
Yeah.
And he can do the heart. Oh, he can do the heart in his sleep. I would think whatever you want to do with a Ghostbusters film, they shouldn't be superheroes.
Yeah, absolutely not.
You know, they're wearing these heavy packs, and they all get slimed, and they destroy everything around them, and they're just good enough to get things done. Let's wrap things up.
Wait, I'm going to do a casting repick just really quickly.
Sure.
All right, I'm going to take Michael...
Break all the rules.
Yeah, I'm going to take Michael J. White out, and I'm going to put Steve Coogan in.
Okay, interesting choice.
I think for the comedy, we should bring in Benedict Cumberbatch as well.
Shut up. Stop trying to get your countrymen jobs.
Cumberbatch needs help getting movies these days.
Yes, clearly.
It's like the Samuel Jackson of white people.
No, he's not. There are actors that are much more prevalent than him. We've asked should, we've asked could. Now the question is will. Do you think we will see a Ghostbusters film in the next 5 years, Johnny?
No, I don't think we will.
Okay.
I think it's going to be some time, mainly because most of the people still involved in the Ghostbusters project are still around. Harold Ramis passing away is a very sad thing, obviously. But Dan Aykroyd, still around. Ernie Wilson, still kicking around. Ivan Reitman, still around. I don't think it has passed out of enough people's hands to warrant a remake or a sequel without a little bit of scorn from a number of people.
I do think that if the studio decides fuck Bill Murray, and I think they're at the point where they have, Bill Murray can't stop them from making a Ghostbusters 3.
No, he can't.
None of the creative people associated with Ghostbusters can prevent a Ghostbusters 3 from happening if Sony wants it.
And it's been that way for pretty much, 20 years?
Bill Murray can't stop it being made, and nobody can.
The difference is these days, more than ever, studios are all about franchises. And Sony is so desperate for a franchise at this point, they're trying to do a Marvel universe just with the Spider-Man character. So they're giving Venom a movie, and they're giving the Sinister Six a movie. They're doing a Sinister Six movie without Spider-Man. A Sinister Six movie because they are so desperate to do a Spider-Man-related movie a year. Because they are so desperate for franchises. And Ghostbusters is a proven property, if nothing else. And I think they are pretty driven at this point. The death of Harold Ramis will not even slow them down. I wish Bill Murray had been more willing to get on board. I'm no Hollywood insider, but I do know some people, and I know there have been good scripts for Ghostbusters 3 that Bill Murray has shot down. Now, because he shot things down so long, they don't even care anymore. He won't have any input. Now I am worried. Maybe Ghostbusters 3 will be bad. I don't know. I want there to be more Ghostbusters.
I do too, but I don't think we're going to see it in the next 5 years.
I think we absolutely will. Petros?
I agree with Johnny, if for no other reason than to piss Tron off.
Screw you too.
Honestly, I just don't see it being remade in the next few years. I could see it being remade, maybe after 5 years, because 5 years almost seems like okay, it's been enough time since the dude died.
Mm-hmm. Well, for what it's worth, the talk going around town now is that Ghostbusters 3 is now in fast track.
Because the guy died. Yeah, actually, that makes sense. That actually really makes sense now that I think about this town.
Actually, to be fair, this was a process that was in the middle of happening before he died. But basically, that for Sony at this point, Hollywood these days is franchise desperate. More so than they have been at any point in the past. Ever. Okay? It's all about franchises. Until it officially gets announced, until we have an actual director and a writer and a cast, I'm not going to go into this negative. Because many a great movie over the years has had less than auspicious beginnings. Sometimes it can be a crucible that produces greatness. Sometimes it can just lead to crap. Until I see a reason, a firm, hard reason to think otherwise, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and my optimism high. As a wild, crazy idea, what would you say to a live-action Ghostbusters TV series?
Honestly, given the fact that, in my opinion, movies are not dying, but they're losing the battle as the dominant form of storytelling that people watch to television at this point. Like, there are much better things coming out on TV than there are in the movies. House of Cards, Orange is the New Black, Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones. Where has anything that good been in movies? Like, at least on a sort of like more blockbustery kind of scale, being in movies for a long time. That's because they could tell longer stories. Now, would Ghostbusters work as a series is another question. Yes, it's been done as a cartoon, but live action and cartoon are very different beasts.
To which, again, I would direct you towards the current IDW Ghostbusters comic book to see an example of how I think, Ghostbusters could work as an hour-long live-action show. How about you, John?
I do. I mean, what is Supernatural or Buffy or Angel, but analogs for the same thing, basically. Supernatural is really nothing but trying to be a grittier, more big pecs Ghostbusters.
Please, Johnny, stop it. Johnny, you can't insult Supernatural.
I'm not insulting Supernatural.
If you insult Supernatural, the Supernatural fangirls will come out and they will do unspeakable things to all of us.
I'm not insulting Supernatural. I'm just saying is that it's a Ghostbusters that likes to flex its muscles more. That's all. It still wraps comedy up into it, you know.
And I also think that in terms of effects, on a TV budget, you could absolutely do it. Give them a decent budget, you could make a decent-looking Ghostbusters. I would love a Ghostbusters TV series now. The way I would do it is actually, unlike the movie, I wouldn't do a reboot. I would do a continuation, and I would have Dan Aykroyd. I'd bring him in as Ray, and basically, I'd do what Extreme Ghostbusters did, except I'd replace, for obvious reasons, Egon in that show with Ray. Because Dan Aykroyd totally would do a TV series at this point. I could totally see him playing the crazy mentor role.
Sponsored by Crystal Skull Vodka. No, that's not landing with anybody. Dan Aykroyd makes Crystal Skull Vodka.
Oh, he actually makes that stuff. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Way to derail the show, Johnny.
I was, you were all like, we'll bring him back.
Okay, just stop. Okay.
No, you
right.
Stop.
Final thought. I'm going to get final thoughts from the both of you. Final thoughts just on Ghostbusters in general, Johnny?
Like, what other final thought can you have except awesome?
And you, Petros?
Rest in peace, old friend.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about her, I'm talking about you. I'm coming to kill you, man.
Uh-huh. Get in line. It's a long line. It's a really long line. And it's littered with corpses of those who have tried and failed. So, bring it. Bring it! Real quick, who I'll pitch to make the Ghostbusters TV series, Brian Fuller. Clearly, Hannibal's going to get canceled after this season, and he could bring his visual mastery, and he could totally do Ghostbusters TV series.
Damn
My
you,
God.
Shaun, it is not going to be canceled.
I don't want it to be canceled. Its ratings premiered really low, even for it. And week 2, things went even further into the crapper. It's a dead show walking. Only the financial deal was keeping it alive, and I'm not sure even that deal is good enough. With how low things are getting now, there are almost more people watching this show than watching Hannibal at this point. All right, so that's it. I want first of all thank you, Petros, and thank you, Johnny, for both joining me on the show.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I want to thank all of you for watching. I don't know how much of a regular thing going forward Unrepentant Geeking is going to be. Thumb Wars is still definitely happening. Blistered Reviews is still definitely happening. When the right topic comes up, expect to see more, hopefully, Unrepentant Geeking in the future. And if you liked what you heard, let me know in the comments section. Let me know by email. I'll listen. I will give the people what they want, as long as what they want isn't for me to shut up, because that's never going to happen, no matter how much you people try. I'm not going to shut up. You can't make me.
I can make you do anything.
Petros, be quiet or else I'll take away your talking privileges. Yeah, that's what I thought. Alright, this has been Unrepentant Geeking and Sean Cronenfeld for That Guy with the Glasses at Channel Awesome.
Psycho what?
Psychomagnetheric.
Big word.
Negative human emotions are materializing in the form of a viscous psychoreactive plasm with explosive supernormal potential.
Does anybody speak English here?